What's up, guys? Parker Talks is back. Today I'll be doing another movie review as I have just recently watched Enola Holmes, which is just released on Netflix. You have a lot of cool characters in this, as our main character, Enola Holmes, is Millie Bobby Brown, who you might know from the Stranger Things series, TV show. And you also have Henry Cavill, who apparently is Superman. I haven't seen any of the Superman movies, but he is Superman. He plays Sherlock Holmes in this film as well. So this is a story that basically deals with Enola's side of things compared to Sherlock. As Sherlock has had a lot of movies so far, this is a nice little story on just like a different way of just trying to solve cases. Like an even cooler way, I think, of how to solve cases with Enola's brain and how smart she is. She uses that with her mother's past, and they had a really close relationship, and when her mother goes missing, she has to try to solve the case, try to find where her mother has gone. So she uses all these clues that her mother has left her because she knows that she has left all these clues for her because we'll go back in times in the past where when she was little and her mother and Enola would do things together, and she would go back to that, and that's a really cool part of the film where we go back to that every so often, and that's how Enola tries to solve the case. Now, while she's trying to solve that case of finding her missing mother, there's also other characters she'll meet along the way, where there's basically this new case that she has to solve. So she's basically trying to solve two cases at the same time. And throughout this, probably the best part of the movie is just Millie Bobby Brown as Enola Holmes. This is like the perfect character for Millie Bobby Brown, as she already is British, so she doesn't have to work on a certain accent and all that. And she's just really charming, just really like livens up the scene when she's that character. She'll have some asides, which is when she like looks at the camera and like no one else around in that scene can hear her. She's basically just talking to the audience. She'll have a lot of those, and those are really funny as well, and that really just brings up her character, which I think is the best part of the movie, and I really enjoyed. Another cool thing about this film is while she's trying to solve these cases and go throughout her story basically in this movie, it's basically like a women empowering movement for Enola, as women, I guess, in this time of England are supposed to do a certain thing, supposed to act a certain way, and she doesn't want to be that. She doesn't want to marry a certain someone. She wants to do whatever she wants to do, and I really like that, and Millie Bobby Brown also as that character does a great job of kind of like just wanting to do her own thing and just trying to avoid the, basically the hierarchies of what she's supposed to do. And she also tries to avoid her brothers, Mycroft and Sherlock, as they want her to do certain things. And also on the Sherlock side of things, as basically Enola goes missing when she's trying to find her mother, and she basically runs away from their house where Sherlock and Mycroft live. Sherlock is very laid back in this film, which I feel like helps with the character of Enola as being this main character in this film. Sherlock is much more laid back in the way he tries to solve things. It's much different than maybe some other Sherlocks that you might have seen in other movies or TV shows. So I think that really helps with this particular movie when you try to have this well drawn out character as Enola. This movie is very whimsical, and it could be very intense at different times in this plot line of this film, and that's another good part about this film, is that there's so many different elements in this film that make it from like very funny, there's very funny moments to very intense, very important moments, and I feel like that's just really driven by Millie Bobby Brown as Enola Holmes, as she is just really good in this role. And like I said, I feel like she just fits this character so well, and the way she just engages with the audience, with the characters in this film, just makes this movie even better than if it was just someone else, I would assume. If I have to go with anything in this film that I didn't particularly enjoy, I would say certain flashbacks in this film. Now, I really like flashbacks in films, but there are many flashbacks in this film that occur right before something's about to happen, and that mini flashback kind of like explains a little bit why this is about to happen. I would much rather have all of that be in the beginning, and then like later in the movie we can see that flashback, but this is a flashback that we've never seen before, and it's very small tidbits. Now, that might correlate to the way Enola thinks and the way she processes trying to solve her cases, and if so, I understand that part. I think I would just rather enjoy it be, most of these things being the film, then we just see this flashback and now we're back to the scene. Now it makes sense. So if that makes any sense at all, a lot of these flashbacks relate to Enola with her mom when she is younger, and that how they help her solve like a certain clue or something. So that could correlate to how she works and how she processes things. But again, I would much rather have them in the beginning. But there's always different ways in movies on how to do that particular type of the film. The only other thing is that the main case that she's trying to solve, basically in the end, is to find her mother. But there's other stuff that occurs in this film in the middle that is really important for her as well and important for other people, and you kind of lose that part where you try to find her mother, and then she tries to eventually get to that point, but by that point you've gone through all this stuff, which I really like in the film. I honestly do really like all this stuff. It just kind of takes away from that part of the film, but other than that, no really big things in this film that I dislike. So I would definitely advise you guys to watch this film, especially if you've seen Millie Bobby Brown in Stranger Things or whatever it is, as she just drives this movie. And I would definitely get this movie a positive rating. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm glad to do all these movie reviews for you guys. So thank you guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. See ya.